Welcome back once again, and let's continue the discussion on malaria. You can always call in with your questions, whatever is puzzling you. Now, let me just take up from where Sheye left us. What is the implication if somebody keeps getting treated for malaria month after month, or maybe at 2-week intervals, and it's something else? What could be the implication or the complication?
Well, the main complications, that takes us to side effects of the drugs that are being used. And mostly, most medications taken, they have adverse effect on the liver and the kidney. But for Sheye to be treated for malaria every month, I think Sheye should see his doctor and ask that a laboratory test should be done to establish malaria.
Would he have to wait a few days for all the malaria medication he has taken to wear off to do such a test?
No, he doesn't have to.
So if there's a problem, it would show in the test, even if he's taking the medication?
Yes. You see, malaria, when you talk about malaria treatment, we have recrudescent malaria. We have what we call recrudescent malaria. We have what we call relapse malaria. And we have what we call reinfection. Okay. Now, unfortunately, the time will not permit me to run you through how the malaria parasite does in the body. But what happens is that after being bitten by a mosquito...
Let's hang on a second. A call is coming through. Hello.
Hello.
What's your... Okay. Can we have your question quickly?
Yes. I have a baby that running temperature. So I want to know whether it's that high temperature.
Whether malaria could cause
high temperature in infants.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think first of all, a baby with a high temperature shouldn't even be at home.
Definitely, you're very correct. My first
but
advice...
But he really wants to know if this could be malaria.
This could be malaria. But again, the fever pattern matters now.
Okay.
And that was why I was going to with Sheye's case. Now, in recrudescent malaria, after being bitten by a mosquito, a female Anopheles mosquito, it releases the parasite into the bloodstream of the person. The parasites then travel. They're called sporozoids. They travel to the liver.
Okay.
And stay in the liver, attack the liver cells. In the liver cells, they multiply. And then they rupture the liver cells and come out in large quantity into the bloodstream.
Are you saying the liver is already compromised when somebody has malaria?
That is why in malaria, one of the complications you see in malaria is jaundice.
Okay.
You could see that in malaria as well. And you could see what we call Coca-Cola colored urine, which is what in the next stage I'm about to talk about. Now, in this case, once the malaria parasites are released from the liver cells that are being ruptured, they come out in large quantity again back into the bloodstream and attach themselves to the red blood cells. They incubate themselves in the red blood cells and multiply again. And then rupture the red blood cells.
Okay, so this person is also losing blood.
And that is why malaria could cause anemia.
Okay.
And that is why malaria could affect the kidneys, because all the blood cells that are being ruptured, also, the kidneys filter the blood and bring out all the impurities. So that is why that happens. Now, each time the red blood cells are ruptured and a large quantity of malaria parasites are released into the body, that is when there is spike in temperature.
Okay.
So, in malaria, the patient will always tell you that, okay, I usually, when I wake up in the morning, I'm fine. In the afternoon, I'm okay. But once it comes to evening, I start having temperature, and then I'll start shivering. At about that time, the parasites are being released in large quantity. And as they are being released again, they'll attack more red cells, multiply again, and then the same process happens again.
Now, there's this thing about, well, let me first give you the process and you tell me if I'm right.
Okay.
An Anopheles bites a person
Yeah.
who has malaria parasites.
Yes.
It takes parasites from that person
Yes.
and goes to infect another person.
Yes.
And on
The
and on the
cycle
chain
goes
goes.
on. Yeah.
But then we are made to understand that there are some people who don't get malaria.
Now, there's
They
no,
seem to be asymptomatic.
there is asymptomatic malaria. Because we live in an endemic area, there is hardly a time you take anybody's blood sample and you look under the microscope and you will not find malaria parasite.
Okay, let's wrap it up really fast because we're out of time. So just...
Yeah. So that you will not find a parasite. You will find a parasite, but the quantity also matters. Okay? And that was why they talked about diagnosing malaria parasite, that in non-endemic area, you have less than 100,000 parasite per ml of blood. And in an endemic area, you have more than 250,000 parasites per ml of blood. Then that is the definition of severe malaria.
Okay.
So,
unfortunately, we can't go on, but what we're taking from here now is that individual responsibilities, cleanliness, use of insecticide-treated mosquito nets,
yes.
spraying of the homes,
Yes.
and cleaning out of drainages.
Yes.
That's our responsibility. That's your responsibility. Thank you so much for coming, Dr. Odunsi. And thank you so much for being with us. Thanks for your calls. There was Sheye, there was Fumi, and one other person. You really set us talking. Have a great day. I am Mary Alale Yusuf.